Everything's in place now for the next step, which is to insert the two new accessories, that's the bookcase and the table lamp, into our design, and also insert the table and bowl and table lamp assembly. Now we're going to insert those as cells, but you should be aware that we could also insert them in a couple of other ways too. Now the first way would be to simply copy and paste, and since you can have two or more copies of MicroStation open at the same time, copying and pasting between drawings is actually quite simple. Plus, of course, you can have various models open in the model displays, and you can go back and forwards quite quickly. The other method is to insert them as references, which makes a lot of sense actually, because that allows you to edit the outside files and then have them automatically update in this drawing. Now, we don't intend to edit either the accessories or the table assembly, so we can simply insert them as cells, because I want to show you that process again. Now, before I start the actual insertion process, I like to be able to control exactly where these cells will be placed, particularly in the height orientation, so the Z axis in other words. Now I'm going to eventually want these accessories to be sitting on the lower floor slab, so it would be nice if I could drop them into place at that level, and we can do that by setting the active depth to the floor slab level before we start. So I'm going to open up my top view, and you'll see why in a second. I'm going to set the active depth for the top view at the level at the top of the slab. We set active depth, data point in the top view, and I need to open another view to see what I'm doing here. So I'm going to open up the front view, which is here. Here's my slab. I want my active depth to be at this level here, top of the floor slab. So we data point there, and my level is set. I can dismiss that one. I'm going to leave this one in place, and again, you'll see why in a second. Now, let's go to the cell process. So let's go to Element and Cells. Now, right now, you're going to see a particular cell library, but we need to actually open up our accessories drawing first. Now, keep in mind that a design file can be used as a cell library, and it doesn't have to have a .cell extension. Now, you did this in level 2, but just to remind you that files with .ugn can be used as cell libraries. So let's do that. I need to open up a new file and attach, and I need to get to accessories drawing, which is on my level 3. It's under 16. And I had to change the files of type at the bottom here, which is automatically cell. It's looking for a cell library. I needed to look for a design file, so we'll change it to designs. Here now is my accessory design. I can click on that. And now in my cell library box, I see the models which are available to me in that design file. I see bookcase and standard lamp, and of course default. Now there's nothing in default, but I can see bookcase and standard lamp, and right now I'm seeing my bookcase. Now if you remember, when we discussed cells previously in this course, I said that this top left view is the most important one. This is the orientation in which this cell will be placed. And we're seeing the top orientation here. So therefore, we have to place it in the top view. So bookcase is selected. We need to click on placement so that the bookcase is ready for cell insertion. And now we can go to the cell tools, click on the place active cell. And if you look carefully, you can see my bookcase coming into place. I just want to double check with the isometric. Yes, and you can see the cell coming in. They're different, of course, because my isometric is wireframe, whereas my top view is shaded. So I just plop it there. Let's do the same thing with the standard lamp. And again, it's the top view that's important. Click on placement again. Now I have to start the cell tool again. And here comes my standard lamp. Plop that in place next to the bookcase. And that takes care of the accessories. Now I've got to insert the table combination. This requires a different file. And I want module 15 and my 3D design file. The model is default, and there is my table assembly. So click on placement again. It's saying default, which is the model. Off to cells again. I'll just plop that into place there. Let's get rid of the top view. Let's get rid of my cell and look at the isometric. So we have the table, we have table lamp, and we have the bookcase. And if I turn on constructions, you'll also see that I have my light assembly, and I still have the light in here as well, of course. We'll also notice, by the way, that I now have quite a few more levels because each of these objects have brought their own levels into this design. We should see all of the materials that belong to these objects, which should also be brought into this design. However, we're seeing an item called missing materials, and we're missing the green marble for the bowl. Well, we'll fix that in the next video when we move all of these items into the building itself.